Lockport. This morning we meet once again hybrid, in person and for Zoom, recorded for your pleasure and the world's future broadcast on YouTube. This morning we're going to start with an inspiration by Dave Licata. Dave Licata.
I have to warn you because Toastmasters don't apologize, and I am going off the PC rails today. Our Toastmaster has chosen one of my favorite subjects, and this meeting is going to wind into a lot of talk about beer. And I like to remind you that none of us in this room and none of you out there in Zoom land would be here today without beer, because the ancients made beer, and they didn't know it when they boiled the water to make the beer. They killed all the microbes, and that's why we are a successful species. But we owe a lot. We had hunter-gatherers that settled into little villages, and they said, "Oh, great, we're going off hunting and gathering," and they said, "No, you two guys got to stay back and make the beer." And that's how civilization got started. And the most civilized place on earth, they make the argument, would be Ireland. And I found out that there's one of the many Irish saints, and her name is Bridget, and she's the patron saint of beer. Now, she was said to have miraculously changed water into beer for a leper colony and provided enough beer for 18 churches from a single barrel. There's a woman after my own heart. She is sometimes considered to be one of the patron saints of beer. Bridget's feast day is observed as far away as Ireland, as Australia, and New Zealand. She was born maybe, she didn't know that out of war. But it was Kildare, Ireland. Now here's the inspiration part.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, but I'll get you next time. Okay. She has a quote, and somehow St. Bridget knew about our region that you and I live in. "I would like a great lake of beer for the King of Kings, St. Bridget."
Thank you, Dave. I think should I take the obvious joke that he misread the title for the meeting? And he's thinking hops.
He
Oh, it
didn't
is hops.
misread it. Apparently you misread it.
I did. So,
Maybe I called our Toastmaster that night,
Maybe you
nailed it
did.
down.
okay, you are the best, Dave.
You did.
You are the best.
Indeed, I
I
am.
read this.
That's why AM Lockport is worth getting up for. With that, everyone please get up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Like every week, we have a Toastmaster, and it is with great pleasure I introduce our Toastmaster for this week, Jackie Kenny.
Thank you.
Everybody show up.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mom.
There we go. Let's get right into the job since we're running a little late. Our word master coming to us virtually is Anne Marie Lenhart. Anne Marie, what's the word for today?
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to be back. The word of the day is elation. Is more than mere happiness. It is extreme exhilarating joy. An example would be that there is a sense of elation at having won the first place prize in the race. Another example would be, I am elated to be back at AM Toastmasters.
Hey.
Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Excellent work. I'm elated to have you back and several other people we haven't seen for a while, including Edna Stubbs. I'm going to skip over the master because I don't see Tracy yet. Perhaps she'll be running late and join us soon.
Not Tracy.
David Jones is our grammarian. David, please tell us about your job.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I am elated to be here as well, as it is very rainy here in Charlotte, North Carolina. This morning I will be the grammarian, and I will be looking for exceptional and poor uses of grammar. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Now we have a quote master who jumped right in as soon as I had a vacancy, Carol Halstead. Thank you.
Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. That's a quote of Plato, who lived at 428 to 348 BC. So things change, but some things remain the same.
Thank you, Carol. Our timer this morning is Mike Licata. Mike, tell us about your job, please.
Good morning, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. This morning, my job will be as the timer to keep track of the time because everything is timed in Toastmasters. Our table topics are usually 1.5 to 2 minutes. Speeches are usually 5 to 7. And our evaluators are usually 2 to 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our tech and gesture master is Sylvia Baptiste. Sylvia.
This morning with a dual role of tech and gestures, I'll be watching for hand gestures, people playing with their hats, gentlemen. Other gestures that people will have, and then technology is evaluating the tech. And so far, tech is our friend, not our foe.
Thank you.
Justin.
Hopefully it stays that way, Sylvia. And our quiz master today is also Carol Halstead. Carol, what are you going to have for us before the meeting ends?
I'm going to see how well everyone is listening, and there will be a test.
Okay, thank you. Well, I still don't see Tracy, and I'm wondering if someone else would like that job, or if we can combine it with the grammarian job, and David Jones could do double duty. Are you ready for that, David? Okay, then we'll let that be the case. So you are also a master.
Got it. And I will be listening for the Oz-sos and other fillers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And finally, we have a vacancy. I received word late last evening that Larry Eggert was not going to be here this morning, so we need a general evaluator. Is anyone up for that job this morning? Either online or someone here in the room? Anybody? Anybody? Well, maybe someone will start taking notes and we'll fill in before we're through. Now,
Did Tom get the Justin?
I am elated to talk to you about hops. It's hops harvesting season right now. You can do a lot of things with hops besides make beer. It does have medicinal uses. It's good for insomnia and also a number of relaxation uses. You can make a nice tea with hops. I can't read that from here. Larry.
Tom Moran, Jester.
Tom Moran has volunteered.
No,
He did-
Jester.
Oh, Jester, I forgot him.
Not the joke.
Horrors. You know what? He didn't come up in my list. Tom Moran, I am so sorry because I know you probably have a lot to say this morning. So would you like to give us a jest, Tom Moran?
Thank you, Toastmaster. I was confused by the hoppiness. I looked it up and there is no, I couldn't find a word hoppiness or a definition. So I just assumed we were talking about rabbits or something this morning at this meeting. So I did manage to find a joke that includes the word hoppy. Well, the Queen of England was visiting New York and she arrived at the airport and she hopped into a limousine. She took a look at the car and asked the driver if she could drive because she said she never drives in Britain and she wanted to see what it was like. So the driver agreed and switched seats with the Queen. So the Queen starts driving along and she's on the expressway and she's going 50 and she goes, oh, this is pretty nice. Brings it up to 80 miles an hour and said, all at once she's going 100 miles an hour. Well, she drives by a radar, a cop in a car, and he pulls her over. Rolls down the window and the guy sees that it's the Queen of England. And he said, oh my God. He goes back to his car and he calls his boss and he says, I got a problem here. He says, I just pulled over a speeding driver and he's very important guy in the limousine. And the boss says, well, who is it? What is it? The chief of police? And the policeman said, no, it's not the chief of police. He said, well, is it the governor? It's like the governor of the state in the car? And he said, no, it's not the governor. And he goes, well, who could it, is it the president of the United States? And he says, no, it's not the president of the United States. Well, the guy says, well, who could it be? How important could this person be? And the policeman says to his boss, he says, I don't know who the person is in the car, but he's being driven around by the Queen of England. Madam Toastmaster.
I love it, especially because Elizabeth really is a good driver. She drove service vehicles during World War II, and she could jump out and repair things when it was needed. So she's a very good driver. All right, let's get into table topics and have our friend Marty Johnston come up and do table topics for us. I'm sure he has some good thoughts for us this morning.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and our virtual members. This morning I have a grab bag, and I too didn't catch the topic. However, I only had a half a beer when I read that. It said, I thought it did say happiness.
I did too.
Now, however, I am in tune with the theme this morning, and I have maybe something Nobel, if you will, as to our variety of topics, and I will explain it to any of our contestants that might be virtual this morning. Our first contestant this morning would be one of our virtual friends, Toastmaster Eric. Eric, are you on? Hello, Eric. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to pick something out of our little container here, and they're related to what I thought was happiness, but it's hoppiness, and you can go both ways with this, Eric. And I'm going to pull the first one out, and this is what it is. Can you see it? This is the camera here for him. Right. Can you see that, Eric?
He's froze.
The Haribo little gummy candy. Hello, Eric. Hello, Eric.
Eric froze.
I've seen people try to get out of table topics, but that's kind of lame. Come on.
Houston, we have a problem.
How about Mike Florio? I see Mike there in the, hey, Mike, can you see what I'm holding?
Well, I am a general evaluator.
Oh, you are a general
I mean, an
evaluator.
evaluator,
Okay.
not a general.
Okay. Well, we don't have that.
Private.
How about David? David, share your thoughts on,
I'm general.
Happiness.
I'm general evaluator.
I thought Mike's.
Eric is
No,
back.
Mike got
I've got my
confused.
list right here.
Mike's just evaluating. I want to be general evaluator. Because I know what's.
Private.
Eric is back.
Okay, tell you what, I'll go. All right, ready, timer?
No.
Go. I'm going to go.
Let
I'm
Eric
going to
do it.
go.
No,
This is the Haribo candy,
This way,
candy man.
this
Can
way.
you see that? The Haribo candy man. And the Haribo candy man is definitely a sign of happiness and happiness to me. I saw this at work one day when I was stocking the Haribo candy. And I said, wouldn't that be great to see him every day when I wake up and smile? So what I did, I cut it out and I put it on my dresser. So every morning I wake up and I see him and I smile. I'm easy to please, trust me. So that's my Haribo candy man. The candy is very popular. I've never eaten any, but it's a gummy candy. Have any of you ever eaten a Haribo candy? A couple of our virtual friends. It's very popular, and I sort of cringe at it, the candy itself, because I know it's loaded with sugar, and I try to not consume a lot of sugar because I know it's not good for your overall health. That is my story out of the grab bag of happiness this morning. Thank you, Mr. Topic Master. Our second contestant, Eric, are you back with us? Eric.
Yes, I'm back.
Good morning, buddy. I'm going to pick something out of here for you, okay, Eric?
This
I'm
way
going to
here.
pick a good one. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Here it is.
Marty, camera this
Okay.
way. Camera this way.
Out of the happiness, it says New York Lottery, and it's a pencil. It's a New York Lottery coin, and then it's a New York Lottery pencil. It says New York Lottery quick draw. Tell me a story about how this could make you full of happiness or happiness. Eric.
Oh, man. That's a tricky one, but I'll see I can elate with happiness today. A lottery. Man, I think we all need to win the lottery, especially me, because I need a new car because my car is a piece of crap. But excuse the language there. I'm just still waking up after having a wonderful birthday yesterday. And I'm going to go a little bit off of that and say that, I am so elated to celebrate 29 years of being alive, being so enthusiastic, because when I turn 30 next year, I might have very sore bones in my body that I cannot articulate to. But I want to thank Dr. Stevens for fixing my back, because after several months of fixing my back problems, I've been so ecstatic with feeling so much better and not throwing my back out every so often. So Dr. Stevens, thank you so much for fixing my back. But getting back to that is like feeling like I won the lottery, because you feel so relaxed, so vibrant. But in the end, I feel like every day I should win the lottery with that. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, everybody.
Looking at the agenda, I see only 2 more people that aren't on the agenda, and I'm hoping that they can participate this morning. And they'll participate, I hope, by a flip of a coin. How's that? Either Len or Larry. But either you step away or no. They're the only other 2 other people that are
Len gave a thumbs up.
Okay, all right. Flip up a coin. Okay, so. What would you like, heads or tails?
Tails.
Tails.
Lenny won, Lenny won.
Len won, yay.
Okay.
What's my question?
Your question is, you can pick one of these items and tell how it fills you with happiness or happiness.
Just have a name on it. Marty Johnston.
See,
Okay,
he said it was coming.
happiness. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster. Yes, Marty, you did evoke happiness. You're a key part of this club, and we welcome that. But I would rather talk about the theme of today, happiness. Because I, for one, am a big fan of hops. I have been for a long time. Some people don't like IPA craft beer because they're too hoppy, too bitter. I say the bitter, the better, okay? IPAs are here to stay, okay? You don't have to drink them. You can drink a wheat beer, a vice beer. You can drink a lager. You can drink any number of other types of beer, but don't trash on the IPAs. They're a wonderful thing and God's gift to beer drinkers all over the world. David related how beer saved the world. There's a book by that title. I've read it. It is absolutely true. We would not be here without beer. And hops are one of the core ingredients necessary for making beer. So I absolutely love hoppiness. I love the theme. I love you too, Mark. Thank you. Thank you, Len. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
All right, I think we need a timers report. So Mike Licata, how did everyone do?
It's on. It's on. All right, thank you.
Fortunately, I got caught a little flat-footed. Marty came in with the buffer at 1:15. Eric came in on time at 1:37. Lon unfortunately only came in at 1:06. So on time,
1:06.
both for either Marty or Eric.
That wasn't even time to drink a beer.
Master, how did our word do this morning? Anne Marie?
I wasn't elated.
Well, it's gotta be, it can be.
You're muted, Anne Marie.
Can you hear me?
We got you now.
Okay. Not too many people used it. Jackie used it 3 times. Congratulations. And David used it once, and that's the only times I heard it. So
Oh, well, save your balance.
elation, make sure you use it as we go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Hear Eric say he was elated, so I think that counts.
Yes.
2 times.
Yeah,
Yes,
he said ecstatic,
Way to go, Eric.
Yeah, he said it's static.
which is similar. So Eric, you
So
get
now
credit
we-
as well.
thank you. We can now have a vote. And I'm going to move right into our speech portion because we are running a little late. However, it appears one of our speakers is not present. Oakless committed to making a speech. He's not here anywhere or online. So I don't know if we've lost him. But this morning, our first speaker is going to be Jen Zappala, and Mike Florio is actually online to be her evaluator. Are you ready for that, Mike?
Good morning,
Can you
Madam
tell us a little
Toastmaster.
bit?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Can you
Jen
tell
will be
us-
speaking from the Develop Your Vision format, and that would be the second speech. Jen's time, Mr. Timer, will be 5 to 7 minutes. And the purpose of Jen's speech will be, the purpose of this project is for the member to develop a detailed vision of his or her personal life, professional life, or an organization. The purpose of this second speech is for the member to share some aspect of the plan to implement his or her vision. I do not have Jen's title, Madam Toastmaster, so
Thank you.
If you could please provide that.
Now we're going to hear from Jen Zappala about leaving a trace. Jen Zappala.
Can you hear me on Zoom? Can you hear me on Zoom? No?
Yes, we can't see you.
Can you see me and hear me on Zoom?
I can't hear you very well.
I can't see you.
Can't see you.
Okay, how about now? Testing, testing. Anybody?
No, I can't see you. Oh,
Much better,
yeah,
much
but
better.
Your PowerPoint's on, that's why.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm here. And today I'm going to bring you my vision. Just to clarify, it is actually the first speech in the series, not the second. So sorry for the confusion, Mike. But leaving a trace, my vision quest. So recently I had the opportunity to travel out west, and I decided to use that time to develop my vision for my personal life. This is Project 5. And I was excited to get started both on this trip and on my vision. So first off, leave no trace is the flip side of leaving a trace. And it's a set of 7 principles that are used in the backcountry so that we leave no trace. But what I've decided is to use a simplified version of this to develop my vision along this trip. And that is, number 1, plan ahead and prepare. I think that's something we can do in any element of our life, not just when we're traveling someplace. But in developing a vision, it seems very important to plan ahead and prepare. Because what is a vision if not something that we're planning for, setting out to do? Number 2, minimize our negative impact. Now, of course, out in the backcountry, things like not leaving your garbage, not interacting with wildlife are really important. But in life, we're definitely going to have moments where we have an impact. And even out hiking or camping, we have an impact on where we step, where we walk. But it's important to minimize the negative impact because there's a lot of damage that we can do as people in our personal lives and physically in the world. And the third thing is to consider others, because other people are important in the world. And the vision that I have for my life is to impact others in a positive way. Now, moving on, I'd like to show some pictures because I think this is what you all are most interested in seeing. So this is the Turquoise Pool in Grand Prismatic at Yellowstone, a couple of the places that I had the opportunity to visit. And of course, there are signs all over Yellowstone warning people not to step in the bacteria mounds because it's a very fragile geological area. And when you have that fragile geological area, you can disrupt those bacteria. You could actually kill off the bacteria and then you would destroy all of that beautiful area so other people would not have the opportunity to see it. Now, another beautiful area in Yellowstone happens to be the geysers. And the geysers at Yellowstone are Grotto Geyser and Old Faithful are a couple of them. And they erupt periodically, some more often than others. And there are also a lot of signs warning people not to throw stones into the geyser. And you may say, that seems ridiculous. Why would anyone throw a stone into a geyser? But of course, I think at different points in history, people thought that was like a magic wishing well. If I get a stone in the geyser, I could win something or the lottery maybe. And of course, that does have a major impact on those geysers and has actually caused some of them to stop erupting. It's disrupted those patterns. So these are ways that we can leave, obviously, a negative impact on the world physically. But I thought a lot about what leaving a trace would mean, because as people, I don't think any of us really wants to be forgotten or erased from history. It's important for us to be remembered in some way or to have some sort of a positive impact individually. I think we all want to be part of the world in a better way. So next up, we have the Fremont Petroglyphs at Dinosaur National Monument. So there are petroglyphs and pictographs throughout Utah that the Fremont people left. And if you look at them, I have no idea what they're trying to say here. Culturally, this might have been a historic thing that they were trying to tell a story or a myth about or commemorate, but it's not exactly clear from us looking at it. However, it does raise a lot of questions and curiosity, and it's interesting to see out there. Now, this seems to be a trace. I'm not sure that it's necessarily positive or negative. It's a little unclear looking at it, what it means, but it's certainly interesting, and it's brought visitors to that area. And of course, we have other monuments out west, those being Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse. And this is also a trace that people have left. Obviously, they commemorate important historical figures. And that could be important to our culture's history. It's interesting what leaving a trace means and what not leaving a trace means. But I think in many ways, both of the principles can be applied to both sides of that to minimize our impact. So these are a lot of the things that I was thinking about on my vision quest throughout this 2 weeks traveling, looking at what people leave, where people are, and what's important to all of us, and what my vision is. So what exactly is my vision? I haven't told you yet for my personal life, and I'm almost at the end of the speech. So my vision, I thought a lot about what's important to me, what I want to do in life. And one of the big things that's important to me is to be able to explore. And exploring can mean learning, it can mean trying new things, going to new places. So exploration is key to me. But it's also important to me to leave a positive impact and to consider others in these things and what I want to leave behind. So I'll finish off here with my last slide of Devil's Tower in Wyoming and my vision to explore the world with joy and love. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Our next speaker will be Edna Stubbs, because we don't seem to have Moklis either online or in the room. So we'll just skip that second speech and move on. And Gerald Stevens is going to be Edna's evaluator this morning. Gerald.
Morning, fellow Toastmasters, and no guests, but we'll have some soon, I'm sure. Today, Edna is back. Round of applause for Edna being back. We have missed Edna and her speeches. She is doing an off-the-cuff speech today about her life since she had experienced it. Since she's been away, and I'm excited to hear about it. And Jackie has the title.
I
do. I believe it is 5 to 7 minutes, Mr. Title. Correct? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Now we're going to hear from our long-lost member, Edna Stubbs, on happiness is being alive, my experience with COVID.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How many people here have actually had COVID? Anybody? Oh my God. Well, I think I'm talking to the right audience then. My last year has been extremely interesting. My daughter, when we had everything shut down, decided that I couldn't go anywhere at all.
I had to stay home because she wanted me to stay alive and stay around because she didn't want to have to take care of the house all by herself. Well, I did that, and we have two friends that she decided could come over as long as they wore masks and stayed at least 12 feet away from me, which was asinine, but we did it. And we had this little pod of the four of us who would get together once in a while. And when it came to December, we decided that things were getting better. And not for Julie, but she decided things were getting better. So if we could have Christmas dinner at their house. It's the first time we had been. We went for Christmas dinner. We had a wonderful time, wonderful dinner. Came home, and the next week found out that they both had COVID. One of them was in the hospital for 3 days, and his wife was sick but home. And my daughter decided, oh, well, Mom, you gotta go get a test. Not that I was feeling bad or anything yet, but I went and got a test and it was negative. Then I started not feeling too good. Just kind of like I might have the flu. I figured I had the flu, even though I had gotten a flu shot. So I went and got another test. Wonderful. It was negative. All right. Then I started feeling really bad. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink much. My daughter was pouring water down me. And I would get sick. And I said, you don't give me anything. I can't. I stayed in bed. I couldn't get up. And she said, Mom, you gotta go get another test. Maybe you have COVID. I went, got another test, and it was negative. By the time we got to the end of that third week, she took me to the hospital. And they gave me another test, and it was negative. So they said, well, we don't know what's wrong with you, but go back home. We don't have any COVID people here. That was at St. Mary's. By the time my daughter called 911, I was almost unable to move. It was really bad. And I told her to tell the ambulance to take me to St. Mary's because that's where my husband always went. And I thought it was a great hospital. That's where I went. They wouldn't let my daughter stay. They gave me another COVID test, a different one this time, and it was positive. So they shipped me out to wherever St. Joseph's Hospital is. That was the Catholic COVID hospital. So they shipped me out there. I sort of remember the trip, sort of, and then I don't remember anything for 4 days. Oh, excuse me. I remember that they took me down to the bowels of the hospital for a CT. I don't know what it was. I went in this thing and then I came back out and I don't remember anything for almost a week. I know people were taking care of me and my daughter was calling me. Everybody was calling me to see if I was okay, and my grandchildren. And I would say, I can't talk. I just don't feel very good. And they would keep calling and I would talk for maybe a minute or two. And then I started to get a little better. And the doctor started telling me what I had wrong with me. I had a number of blood clots in my lungs. I've been on oxygen all this time, but I didn't think I had a problem breathing. I guess I did.
But I had the blood clots in my lungs and they were giving me stuff for that. I had 2 kinds of pneumonia. I got the pneumonia shots, all of the ones for old people. Didn't work, it didn't help. I stayed for another week and they kept trying to force food down me. And I finally said, would you please just give me some mashed potatoes and gravy? I'll eat it. So I had mashed potatoes and gravy for an entire week. Little bit of soup. And then after I did some therapy, because I've been in bed for almost a month, and had a little trouble moving. They said, well, Mrs. Stubbs, I think you can go home. We'll call your daughter. And I said, okay. I went home. And the first thing I wanted to do was to read a book. I opened a book, I looked at it, and I went, what is this? Now, I hadn't heard anything about the long COVID, or at least not much. They weren't talking about it yet. Well, I had it, and I still have it. I still cannot read something and the first time understand what I'm reading. It's the most horrible thing that could happen to anyone who used to be a speed reader. I can't read. I can't think. I can't concentrate. I can't do a whole lot of things that my daughter says are because I'm 82, not because of COVID, but I don't believe it. I know it's not because I'm 82. I could read before I went to the hospital. I'm hoping that all of you stay away from it. I hope we all have a vaccination. I hope we don't have any people here who've decided that vaccinations are totally stupid. Because I'm sorry, but the people who are not getting vaccinated are the ones who are totally stupid. They think COVID is just maybe the flu or maybe a little worse. No. 670,000 people don't die from the flu in 2 years. Never, ever. Not even in 1918. So that's my experience with COVID. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And please, all of you, understand, if I say something that's totally stupid, it's not because I'm 82, it's because I had COVID. Thank you.
Edna. And now can we have a timers report, please, Mike?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Jen came in just under the buffer at 7:30. Edna unfortunately went way over at 8:52. So that is my timer report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I am elated to tell you that at my house, we have Chinook and Tattinger, and both of them have different qualities. We also have Cascade hops. That's what you see growing up the side of my chimney here. If you want to make hops tea, you can boil a ½ ounce of dried hops. And I can provide those for you in a cup of water. And this says a cup of sugar, but that sounds excessive. You steep that and then add it to lemonade, which probably makes a delightful beverage. I have one more quote I want to share with you all. hops are to beer, what grapes are to wine. And now I think we should have some evaluations and hear what our evaluators thought about our speakers this morning. So our first evaluator will be Mike Florio, coming to us live and virtually. Mike, please tell us what you thought about the speech this morning.
Before I get started, I'm not sure about the light, the timer.
I'll do timer for you here.
If you could just let me know, I've gone over before. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll do it for you, Mike.
Thank you. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Jen. Thank you, Jen, for sharing your vision with us. I'm elated to be doing your evaluation, and it was a wonderful speech. It was a little bit different, I'll have to say that. This may be the first speech that I've ever evaluated. Well, I know it is the first speech I've ever evaluated or even watched that someone had a mask on. So it's a little bit different for me. And the first on the evaluation form that you sent me, which I really appreciate, was very helpful. The first thing it asks is about clarity. Spoken language is clear and easily understood. With the technology and with the mask on, I think you did the best you could, even with the mic. And sometimes I couldn't hear you all that well. So a lot of that had to do with the mask, and we didn't get to see your smiling face that we normally get to see. So it was a little bit difficult. Vocal variety, it talked about, again, with the muffled kind of sound with the mask, it made it difficult, but I was able to get the gist of your speech, and you were really well organized with what you were doing. You kept it to 3 points, which is really good. I think that 3 points gets it across to people, especially with a speech with only 5 to 7 minutes. Eye contact, I thought your eye contact was excellent. You, at one point, even looked at the TV screen to at least bring in the people that were not physically at the meeting. Gestures, your gestures are always very relaxed, normal. I mean, not normal, but just very comfortable. You can tell that you're very comfortable being in front of a crowd. Audience awareness, I thought was very good. Again, you looked at everyone in the crowd. You brought everybody in. Comfort level, that goes without saying, really. Your comfort in front of the camera or in front of a crowd, it is excellent. You're very comfortable. Interest, you definitely held everyone's interest. I gave you 5 out of 5 because the photos I thought were great. You shared your story of your adventure, and I loved how you tied in your trip with your vision and how it pulled everybody in with this trip wasn't just a trip out west. It was something that was going to help you grow. And I think it did that for you. The topic was great. And I hope that it's not your last trip out west. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
And now we'll hear from Gerald Stevens evaluating Edna's speech. Gerald.
Morning again, fellow Toastmasters. I'm excited to evaluate Edna today. I'm actually elated. I am elated about Edna coming back. I am elated that happiness and happiness are the same. And also Southern Tier Brewery is coming to downtown Buffalo. These are all great things. But Edna's speech was also great. She started with a question. Veteran Toastmaster, of course, bringing us in, drawing us in. Topics that we can all relate to. that we see and have experienced and heard so many stories. She shared her trials and tribulations with COVID. 3 negative tests and then finally a positive. Wow, that's what I thought for that. I hadn't heard any stories of that at all. And I've heard a lot of stories about COVID.
Yeah, I think there's more.
And there's a lot of them out there. Almost every day I hear something on CNN or see something. But it's definitely out there, and God bless us. Only one time you went out to Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
She behaved. She did everything right. She just wanted to see some family. And by chance, 2 people were there that had it. It's just random chance, it seems. As a Toastmaster, we do want to recommend improvements. There was a couple things, however, be minor. The mic was down a little low. I think some people might have not heard you, and on Zoom, we'll say. Edna projects well, so everybody here heard her. That is not a problem for her. And I kind of emulated that as a younger Toastmaster. Tiny, obviously, didn't make the time. But I've done speeches where I just didn't care. And I feel like Edna didn't care. That's okay. She wanted to tell her story, and that's it. So I appreciated her story. She had great vocal variety, as she always does. Eye contact, excellent. For DCM, expect these things. In natural gestures. She even had a call to action at the end. Get a vaccine. Don't ignore it. Take care of business. That was what I got out of her conclusion. So please follow what she said. Being a chiropractic health professional, I recommend this. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Gerald. And again, can we have a timer's report? Mike.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I am proud to report that both of our evaluators came in at time. Mike came in just under the wire at 3:30, and Dr. Gerald Stevens came in at 2:38. So we can vote for either Mike or Gerald.
And now Thomas will come around to collect your ballots. You can see that hops is kind of a tedious business. You've got to pick all those little capsules off the vines and then dry them. And then you can use them to make your beer. And let me tell you that when you're cooking that stuff up, it's gross. David walked in my house right after I did one day when beer making was going on. Kevin and one of his friends were very busy. They had things on the boil. I walked in and said, "Oh my gosh, it smells horrible in here." About 10 minutes later, David walked in and said, "Oh, it smells so good in here." So, you know, you either like beer and its fragrance or you don't. And I'm in the latter. And now, speaking of David, he has volunteered to be our general evaluator. So I'm going to call him up to take over the meeting from this point. David Licata.
I'm on my way.
Everybody, you know that he needs to be followed.
Oh, yeah. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and all of you out in Zoom land. Anyway, I'd like to salute the Toastmaster today. The theme was excellent, and the theme had a built-in lesson, and the lesson is pay attention. Well, I thought it was happiness. I thought it was just I knew it was right off the bat
because I was there when the Niagara County Sheriff showed up at Jackie's house. Their helicopter had picked up the hot and thought it was the other thing.
Yeah.
They thought it was pot. They were taking her away in handcuffs, and I interceded because after all, I know everybody. We got her off that day. A little aside, because it just wouldn't be a Dave Licata moment without some worthless information. New York State used to be quite the hot growing state, and then some disease knocked it all out. It's coming back. You can see it on Route 77. You can see it on Route 104.
And on East End.
And East Avenue as well. I forgot. I forgot. So we want to salute her for that. Now, Mike Florio, I have to jump here for a moment. Ooh. All righty. Mike Flores' evaluation was gentle, and he took into account the speakers carried on during these extraordinary times. We all have a different way to approach these extraordinary times, and Mike was very gentle about it. So he did a nice job, and I'm sure Jen can't wait to speak again because he did a worthy evaluation, and he pointed out some opportunities to improve. I'm tremendously puzzled because Mike did not take her to task. When she showed that last slide, we didn't have the music. Da, 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 da. So I felt a little let down, but the boys in the control room, they're working so hard. I don't even know what they're doing over there. And to go over to ask for musical accompaniment, Jen, it would have been too much. So I'm just having a little bit of fun. Just a little bit. Dr. Jerry, the sandwich man. Excellent job. And most importantly, you welcome Edna back with open arms. How late do your arms stay open? The Marx Brothers, they keep sneaking in there. All right, I've evaluated the Toastmaster of the day. I enjoyed that reinforcement about the hops and the I enjoyed that. And that book, and you and I, then, are not wrong. We're not here without beer. That's for sure. The key to civilization. And to go off the rails again, that night so long ago in Jerusalem, there was no wine. There was no wine in Palestine. It might have been a cask of wine at Pontius Pilate's house, but he might have brought it from Rome. I was surprised that Pope Benedict didn't change it to beer for Mass, but he being a German boy, I thought he was going to do it. Trying to be clever enough to say the word master for the end, we're going to do a little series of reports. So my dear friend David Jones, the other David, way down south in Dixie, who was kind enough to take on grammarian and master, can now deliver his double-barreled report. Davy Jones.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. We didn't have a lot of anything today, except for this one. So I realized that most people that use filler words such as so are doing it on improv, not during our regular speeches that we're ready for. For instance, Dave Licata gave us 2 of them already this morning giving his evaluation, but it's because he was going on improv. It was the first time I heard Edna give a speech, and she did great all the way to the end when she also used one so because she kind of started improving about getting shots.
I'm sorry, we no longer be friends because she's the queen of no so. I can't believe I used 2 so's in her presence. Now I have to go to confession.
I was gonna let it pass, but it was like a big so, and I had to catch it.
Oh,
Jackie Kenny had a few so's. As far as word or grammarian part, Obviously, the word of the day, happiness, or not word of the day, the theme, happiness, was one I also thought was a typo. I thought it was happiness. I had to look it up, so that was a good word. Eric used the word enthusiastic about being alive. I thought that was a good visual, but he's really young, so he's more enthusiastic like Dave and Dave. And of course, Lynn said the bitter, the better when it comes to hops and beers. That was nice. And those are really the only words that stuck out to me. So back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. Myself of all people, a man with a degree in broadcasting wasn't looking at the camera. So Sylvia, because we're in this incredible age of communication and information, this tech gesture job has become so complicated, but I know that you'll do an outstanding report.
Today, I noticed Jackie did use her pen a few times when she was up here. Jen, I liked how you did the 1, 2, 3, kind of counting on the hands. Len had a lot of good gestures. He wanted to get his points across also. Eric, with the technology, he froze up. Edna got with the voice and the hand, plus using the mic, it's hard to only use one hand. And let's see, anything else? Marty used the basket to do his table topics. And again, thank you, gentlemen, for taking your hats off during the pledge. That's my gestures.
Thank you so much. Before we go to Wordmaster, I think it's time for the quiz. Carol Ann Halstead with our quiz. Here is our quiz master.
Who is the patron saint of beer?
That's only in Ireland. Every European country's got a different patron saint of beer. Go ahead.
And it was mentioned that hops help with a couple other things other than making beer.
Tea.
Bacteria, I guess.
Yeah, that's insomnia. Helps to relax.
True.
What candy was Marty talking about?
The Haribo, or something.
Terrible.
Haribo. Oh, Haribo.
There you go. Thank you, man. Hasbro. Hasbro, I know.
And how old is Eric?
29.
What kind of beer does Len like?
Any kind.
IPA.
And what was Jen's first principle?
Planning.
Now we know Old Faithful. What was the other geyser's name?
Fred.
Dave.
And we know Mount Rushmore. What was the other monument?
Crazy horse.
And how many negative tests did Edna get?
Great.
Wow.
And what hospital did she end up going
St.
to?
Mary's. St. Joe's on Harlem.
Yeah.
And how many kinds of pots does Jackie have?
Four.
Is it four? Three. Okay.
Three. Thank you so much, Carol. I'm gonna check in with our word master. I'm gonna give her a moment to check her mute button. It's Dr. Henry Leonard. Way muddy.
Good morning once again. I too thought the meeting topic was happiness, so I'm kind of shocked that it's hops. I don't know much about beer. When I was in high school in my sorority, we always had the parties and they had a beer keg. And I did try it several times, but just wasn't my thing. So I know nothing about beer. It's not my favorite thing, but it sounds like it is to a lot of Toastmasters. So that's refreshing. The word, I guess, because I equated it with happiness, elation or elated, wasn't real popular. I only heard it 3 more times. Mike Florio once, Gerald Stephen once, and Jackie Kenny. Otherwise, I don't think it was very popular. So sorry, folks.
I'm elated by that report.
Ooh, 1 more time. Wow.
Turn the mic on. Turn the mic on.
Oh, turned it off.
About 3 seconds.
It's been off half the meeting.
Oh, yeah. How's this?
First. That's okay. Keep
We're
going.
okay now? At this time, I'd like to reintroduce our Toastmaster of the day, Jackie Kenny, and our president, Tom Helman. Grab a muffin or two.
Exit stage left.
We have raisin bran muffins this morning, if anybody's hungry, and they're very fresh. I baked them before I came.
Wow.
All right, they're all timed. It's not working. Let's do this. How does that work? Okay. Are we announcing the winners?
Yes, we are.
Do we know?
Yes, we have 50/50 draw. This is working. This is here. 50/50.
All right. While we get the tickets ready for the 50/50, we can ask if there are any announcements. Does anybody have an announcement? Sylvia has an announcement. I bet I know what it is. Dues are due. Dues are due. Dues are due. Everyone, please pay your dues. We need the money. And Len also has an announcement.
I do.
Go there.
My announcement concerns technology. We seem to be falling flat today. This mic works as well. Not when it's in standby though. If you hit the switch and it goes into standby, then you have a problem. This microphone, if I may, has some battery issues. Okay. But we leave this microphone on. The first thing Mike Licata did when he picked it up was turn it off. Okay, I think Jen did the same thing. We leave this on all the time and we set it on this foam here. And then that kind of works. And then the Toastmaster has the headset and that kind of works. A couple announcements as we try and transition to these hybrid meetings here. I know everybody can hear me because there's a mic in the webcam for the Zoom feed. As long as you speak up, it's not a problem for everybody to hear that. Setting all this stuff up requires a little time, and when Larry and I get here, we're running around like crazy to set things up. Please don't talk to us. Don't acknowledge us.
We're not
Don't
even
hand us
here.
books. Don't ask us questions. Just let us do our thing because we're racing the clock to get everything set up before 7 o'clock. Not even a good morning. Okay. Once the meeting started, things are flowing, then you can address us. Thank you. That's much appreciated. It would be incredibly helpful if somebody could take it upon themselves, 1 or 2 people, to get here early, set up the tables, the chairs, the check-in table. All that stuff needs to be set up here. We don't have the luxury of just having it out all the time and coming here and having the meeting. And that could take 10, 15 minutes. We have 3 tables to set up. We have 3 tables to move. We have 15 chairs to place and any number of other things, the 50/50, the badges, the check-in sheets. Think about it. If you're a regular attendant here in person, we can train you on this. It's very simple. Setting up the banner, very simple, the lectern, things like that that have to be done before any meeting. The timer light is not viewable to the Zoom people. So it would be helpful if a Zoom person could take the role of de facto timer and change their background for those speaking from Zoom. We don't have a good camera angle and the light doesn't really come through even when it's shining right on there, unfortunately. We're working on the microphones.
some need to be charged, sometimes batteries go down. But most importantly, speak into the directional mic. That's very important. And if you can't hear yourself coming out the PA, something's wrong, give me a nod, ask for me to fix it for you before you start your speech. Let's see what else. Static on the PA, we're working on that, probably cell phones. That's all I have. That's my rant for this morning. Thank you.
Marty.
One last real quick announcement. Some of you know that I'm the area director of for the club, among a few other clubs, and I'm supposed to make a couple visits throughout the year. See how the clubs are doing, see what help the clubs need. And being my home club, I thought it would be easy to do, but I need to ask the president of the club and the vice president of education. I want to make an appointment to come and visit the club, even though I'm a member. So if there's a day that when you know you're going to have a guest, that might be a good time. And I'm not going to be here the second week of October. So between now and then, I'd like to do it before then or shortly thereafter, or whenever we can arrange that. I would like to come and visit, and I'll send you the information what I'm looking for in advance, just like a little checklist. Mainly a lot of the things we already do, but if there's anything that you know specifically, the members also have anything that you feel the club could use or how the district could help you. That's one of the main questions at the end of each of the categories. How can the district or how can the area director help you? And that's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Good thing we only have 2 speeches today because we need this
A lot of
extra time
announcements.
for all these admonitions and I think maybe a toast.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank our Toastmaster of the day for bringing in treats. She's set a new precedent. So anyone who's Toastmaster brings treats, is that right? Is that
Wonderful new
and
plan.
we're going to toast to that.
Okay.
So to those of you in Zoom world and to those of you that are present, we thank you all for being present in the present. And Edna, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Edna. You're here.
All right. Is everybody straight about what they need to do next week? And Mr. President, would you like to announce the winners?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Breathing on this thing.
Yeah, I know.
So with it this close, see, it works. Excellent. Yeah. Okay. All right. So for table topics, our winner is online, and he just dropped off. This is Eric. Well, maybe you'll watch the YouTube video and realize he won.
I'm sure someone will want to go down.
So then our evaluator for the day winner was Gerald.
Take this ribbon.
I'll get you a ribbon out of the closet. We'll get you a ribbon.
They're right on the
And our
Passcode.
speaker of the day, huh?
Ribbons are right there.
Oh, they're already out. Okay, cool. Come here.
Yay. You get a ribbon, man. You get a ribbon.
And a ribbon for our best speaker of the day is Jen.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
345-020.
020 is Marty.
I'd like to donate it back to the club.
Oh, noble.
Oh, noble. All right, thank
I
you.
second that.
Oh, okay. There is no Toastmaster for next week.
Oh, come on.
No treats.
So we'll do the spatula volunteer before I move to the hammer voluntold.
Maybe
Going
someone
online?
another world.
Going once, going twice.
I can do it.
Oh, Reddy's gonna do it.
Edna's gonna do it. Everyone. Do you have a plan for a subject that you want to do?
Oh, goodness.
So.
No, I don't want to put you on the spot. I won't put you on the spot.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Dave, what do you have?
I need to point out to Eric, he might hear it in the YouTube broadcast. Word about B29, I have ties older than him. And one tie was given to me by Edna when she was babysitting me.
Okay, she was babysitting you. Was that while you were still, did she come over by horse?
I've been listening for her carriage.
Okay, listen for the carriage, all right. So B29, oh man, I wish I could go back to that. All right, the reason Katie and Beth, of course, are not here is because this weekend is the Celtic Festival. If you would like to get in for free and sit at the Toastmasters table, that is something you can do. Please let me know. I was planning on just sitting there the whole time, both days, because, you know, I have a lot of free time. Yes, go ahead.
The names have to be turned in by Monday,
Last Monday?
Last Monday, yeah.
So you-
Okay, well, my name's in there.
So you have to get a hold of them
I can get a hold of them
before tomorrow.
before tomorrow. So see me after the meeting.
Out of the shot.
Otherwise, they
Okay.
won't be able to input it in time.
All right.
Do you have some club literature that you can take or a sign-up sheet for prospects? That would
Yes,
be my
a lot
suggestion.
of that's already kind of planned.
Awesome.
They taking the banner,
Beautiful.
that kind of stuff. Display for,
I'm elated to hear that.
excellent. Thank you. I don't think I used elation enough
That you're
today.
gonna be taking the banner.
All right. I don't think I have anything else. No one else. Thank you, Len, for all that information. I will definitely try and get here earlier to help set up. I saw everyone trying to set everything up and I felt kind of bad walking in almost last minute, so. Anyone else? Going once, going twice, where's the gavel?